Good morning. It's Laura from McNeely Garden Studios, and I'm so happy you're here today. We are doing something really fun. We're going to be creating in pink. Not because it's trendy, but because it's soft and it's strong, just like you. My favorite creative midlife women. And we're going to be doing an exercise while we're doing this little art project today. And it's kind of just what I do. I like to help people process their life through art. Good morning, Donna. And so we're going to be doing that today. And it's really kind of a fun process. It's going to be something that will make you sort of think and slow down enough to actually glue things to, in a visually pleasing way. So I want to show you a new tool that I got, and I kind of had mixed emotions at first when I got it. I have to store it in this plastic container. It is a ruler, and honestly, I don't know if it probably has a real name, but I'm just going to call it a ripping ruler, because you put it down very, very sharp, and you put it down tight and pull your paper across it. We'll do a couple so you can see. And it gives you this really fun, ragged edge. And I liked not only the ragged edge, but I like the little white part of the paper showing. And for this project, I have debated whether to make some metallic edges on this as well. And I just don't know. I may do two, just so I can see which one I like. And if I do, I'll show you. And I'll let you vote or whatever. But lately, I've been thinking about promises. Specifically promises that we make to ourselves. And so often, when we get to a certain age in our life, we realize that we quit making promises to ourselves, basically because we've promised ourselves out to other people. Shark like saw blades yes, that's exactly what it looks like. And it's sharp to the touch too, so I kept the plastic thing. So I just wanted to give us a space in order to reclaim some of that power, some of those promises to ourselves. And I think a lot of it is because we don't even realize that we've done it. And so when you take time to really plan it out, acknowledge the things that you haven't done for yourself, given yourself, then a lot of times when you put a name on it, a lot of times you can solve the problem. All right, so we're going to go down here to my table. I did use 4 sheets of, this is just mixed media paper. I did not use anything expensive today because I wanted it to have this look. Good morning, Lori. And so I took 4 sheets of paper and watercolors, and I just simply made, it's hard to tell that those are 2 different colors, but I have 4 different colors. They're all kind of baby pink, maybe cotton candy pink, this kind of salmon-y pink. Anyway, there's 4 different shades and hues. And then I also took just another piece of mixed media paper. So that's 5 pieces of paper altogether. Probably will not need them all, but I wanted to have a variety to show for you. And my Oohoo stick, I do like to have something to glue on. And so, I just tear out some magazine pages. And all right. So let's go down and I'll show you what we're doing today. Let me see. Can you see? I feel like you're awfully low. Is that better? All right. So what I did, and you know that I love to hide my feelings in my art. And so on this page, I just wrote promises to myself. And I started thinking about that. And what does that mean? You know, what does that mean? This is something that you can practice at home. You make circles from your shoulder. You notice I don't have my elbow down, I don't have my wrist down, I don't have my hand down. I have my whole arm up. And you can make circles, and with a little practice, you really can start making some really perfect circles. So that's a tip I wasn't planning on sharing today, but I've been thinking about the promises that we make to ourselves and the one that we keep for other people. And, you know, by the time we get to kind of midlife and our situations are starting to change, then we start realizing that we've kind of let ourselves down. And so I went through and I thought about some different promises that I have not kept up for myself. I'm going to show you how to use this thing. And so it's got a really sharp, jagged edge and a really soft one. I'll do both. But you have to kind of be a little rough with it. And it gives you this nice, perfect little ragged edge. This other one, I don't think we have enough paper on that one. We'll do like this. See, I'm very reluctant to touch those edges. They're so sharp. There we go. And I'm just kind of pulling it up against this ruler. Well, obviously I did that one a little hard, and that's okay. We can use some of these shorter pieces. Okay. So then I'm going to put this over here. And I really thought about the things that I haven't been doing for myself. And I'm going to read these to you so you can be thinking of your own, examples. Because we're all different. We all have different skeletons in the closet and different fears and whatever. But I didn't want any of these promises to ourselves to be like productive. I didn't want to say, I didn't want it to sound like a New Year's resolution. I wanted it to be more restorative than that. So on this, I just wrote a bunch out. I'm going to read them to you. I promise to stretch, walk, and breathe. That does not mean I'm going to launch into, an exercise program. This just means I'm going to honor the fact that I know I need to move. I know I need to take some deep breaths, look around, and acknowledge some of the wonderful things around me. So this one, I was going to look for a straight edge one, and then I'll start with this one. I promise to keep becoming. I have a friend that has a membership called Becoming, and that has really become a word in my life. I want a rough one. I think this one may be best to start with. So I'm going to write, I promise to protect my rest, because that's something that we all do. We all just keep on pushing. And I'm gonna glue the edges of these. I'm gonna kind of leave one edge off because I want it to stick off the page a little bit. I want the ragged edge. And so this is exactly the same size because it's the same pad of paper. So it's going to fit on the top and the bottom perfectly, but it's going to stick off the edge there. This is a good one. It says, I promise to use my voice, even if it shakes. How often have you had something that you really wanted to say and you were terrified to say it? No need for that. All right. I promise to be active in cultivating my friendships. If you've been with me for a long time, you remember that I am really an advocate for adult friendships. They're very difficult to manage. But you have to be active. You have to be the one to ask your girlfriend out to lunch. You have to be the one to create these moments for yourself. Let's see, this is the one about becoming. I think I'm going to use that one next. Becoming who you were intended to be. You were created by God to become something. And you're indebted to do that. I love how these layers are coming together. I want to, I didn't bring it in here yet, but I'm going to get some thread. I think just some white sewing thread. And I'm going to put that on there as well. Should we put this little skinny one? I do like that. All right. This is a good one. I promise to say no before I say yes out of guilt. Any of you do that? Tell me in the comments if you do that. As women, we are the fiber that holds it all together. We're the glue that keeps everyone else going. And it is so easy to, of course I'll bring a casserole. Of course I'll babysit. Of course I'll do. Well, sometimes we don't need to be doing all that. I think I'm going to let this one like overlap here. Oop. I want to go to the edge, but not too much. There. So, if it doesn't align with what's going on in your life, you need to practice saying no. Maybe this one? Yeah. I promise to, this is the one I didn't glue down. I promise to stretch, walk, and breathe. So simple to just be like, ugh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do it. But you got to do it. I think we'll just do this and I'll cut it off later because I want kind of an edge here. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I've considered sewing this as well. I've seen other people do that, and they do. It's such a beautiful result. Let's get some of these lighter pinks over here. I promise to nourish my body and not restrict or loathe it. Anybody feel like that? You know, every cell of your body listens to the things you say to it. You must be kind. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because it's distracting to me. I keep thinking, what is that? All right. I'm going to write on this one that I promise to believe, that a new life is possible. We are definitely crafting a new life. My husband's retired. I've gotten into this whole thing with you lovely ladies, and I'm just loving it. I just feel like it's what I was meant to be doing. But with anything worth having, you have to give it space. You have to breathe life into it. And sometimes it's exhausting. Sometimes you feel like, can I do this? Can I keep on doing this? Is this even being well received? Is it serving the ladies that I want to serve? Am I doing it right? There's always questions, always. All right, I have a couple more. This is a really good one, y'all. I don't know how many feel like this, but forgive yourself. I promise to forgive myself. That one would be good anyway. But I promise to forgive myself for not being who I used to be. Like when I was young and lifting weights and a bodybuilder and singing in the choir and doing all the things. I'm not doing those things anymore. And sometimes I mourn that person. But she's not here anymore. She's moved on to bigger and better things. What do you think? This one? Maybe I should do it this way. I think I liked it better this way. So forgive yourself for not being who you used to be. I think I need a little piece in there. But somewhere along the way, we stopped promising ourselves anything new. We just so mean to ourselves, really. We make sure that we show up for everyone else, but not us. So today's not really about making a huge declaration. It's just about asking, what can I do to honor myself again? I love the fact that this is all buried in here and no one knows what's under there. Just you and me now. I'll use that. So if anything really resonated with you today, you know, I've got a workshop coming up next week. And we've been talking about it for several weeks now. Pink Promise. These are like pink layers, I suppose, but this is not ironically called Pink Promise. And we're going to talk about not just painting the techniques of this, but we're going to create like a visual marker of commitments that you are ready to hold. You know, all these things that we've been going through lately have been preparing your mind, preparing you for this shift. And it was intentional. I want you to get it. I want you to understand how this works. And it will be no pressure. It's a conversation that feels like it's tapping on your shoulder and you really want to participate. I deliberately kept the link, but I finally have it ready for you. I'm finally where I feel like emotionally it's time to do this. Now I'm gonna let this hang off the edge here, but I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut this end flat. I'm not sure I really like that. I think it needs another little piece right here. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. You know what's fun about art is it doesn't have to just be decorative. It's declarative, right? It's hard to even say that. But but today was the day of starting to make something more intentional. And those of you who know me know that most everything in my life has to have a deep meaning. Maybe that's one of the things I need to start working on for myself in the future, is everything doesn't have to be so deep. But I think I'm at a place in my life where I really need the thought process. I really need to dive deep. I've been enjoying being in this. I'm gonna put you back up here. I've been in this reflective period of my life, and I've really enjoyed sharing it with you all because I love to read, I love to do research, and I have learned so many things, and I've learned that you guys need it. You want it. You tell me all the time. You send me messages all the time. What do I do about this? Now, I'm not a counselor. I don't know, but I do know. I know how to be a friend, and I have done all this practice. So I feel like it's something that we can all do together. So if you are there, if you are finally in the mindset of wanting to not only learn the techniques to paint Pink Promise, so beautiful. It is a Christian symbol, but the lesson is so much deeper. It's not about that. It's about the promises, but it's deeper than what we talked about today. So let me know if you want that link. We'll be talking about it all week, and it will be next Tuesday, the 10th, March the 10th at 11 o'clock. So I will finish this one. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm going to cut this edge off. I'm going to add some thread. I think it needs some gold. If you are into pink, if you're into silver, use silver. I like gold. So let me know if you want to paint that with me. And I will see you this week. Thanks. Bye.